Welcome to Speaking Cinema, serious movie jibber jabber, a movie podcast. Coming to you live from the parking structure under Nakatomi Plaza from my Lincoln Town Car in Hollywood, California. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram. Listen to us on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and iTunes. Commit yourself to us. Search for Speaking Cinema, serious movie jibber jabber. Probably just Speaking Cinema though. That'll probably get you the result.
You can probably find it. I haven't tried yet.
Yeah, keep it simple, guys. Don't get too complicated. I am your host, Hans Jibber Jabber. With me today, as always, is my machine gun toting cowboy, Kevin.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Continuing our not so Merry Christmas month of films, 40 stories, 12 terrorists, 1 cop. 1988's seminal Christmas classic, Die Hard.
Woo-hoo!
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
And what better time than this beautiful Christmas season?
Starring Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, Bedina, Alexander Gutendorf, Clarence Gilliard Jr., James Shigata. Directed by John McTiernan, written by Stephen D'Souza and Jeb Stewart, based on the novel Nothing Lasts Forever by Roderick Thorpe. Produced by Silver Pictures, distribution 20th Century Fox. If you're not familiar, John McClane, New York cop, flies to LA to visit his estranged wife during a Christmas party at her office, the Nakatomi Corporation, at their headquarters, the Nakatomi Plaza. A gang of terrorists led by Hans Gruber takes everyone hostage in the building. John McClane escapes into the depths of the building without being detected and decides to take matters into his own hands.
Like any New York cop would.
Right.
In that situation.
The role of John McClane was often to Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Clint Eastwood, Richard Gere, Tom Berenger, Nick Nolte, and Don Johnson, who all turned it down. Bruce Willis was chosen, even though he was not a big star. He was a TV star at the time on...
Moonlighting.
Yeah,
that's the one.
He was on Moonlighting. He was paid $5 million to lead Fox's tentpole blockbuster, Warren Beatty money back in the 80s.
Yeah, Warren Beatty back in the day, that was a lot of money.
And to a TV star who, famously at when this movie debuted and they did the test audiences, people thought it was very goofy that Mr. Willis was the star of the movie. They thought, that's like the dad from Step by Step being an action star.
True.
This is also the film debut of the legendary Alan Rickman. Rickman made his name in the Royal Shakespeare Company and on BBC shows before starring in Die Hard. McTiernan and producer Joel Silver discovered him when they went to see the play Dangerous Liaisons. Nakatomi Plaza is actually the Fox Plaza, Fox Studios' office in real life, right here in Los Angeles, adjacent directly to the Fox lot. Didn't even have to leave their own backyard for this one. As of this recording, Die Hard is available on disc, iTunes, Amazon, other major retailers. Not streaming currently. Maybe it will be by the time you hear this.
It's been on Netflix a bunch of times before, so.
You notice we never say it's been on Amazon. We just never look. Because we don't care.
And we don't have Amazon Prime.
I have Amazon Prime.
Well, look at you, Mr. Moneybags, over here.
That's my name, Mr. Moneybags.
Shit and egg.
Don't tell people my real name. Jibber money bag jabber. Have you heard of this movie, Kev? It's a redundant question.
Have I heard of this movie? Of course I've heard of this movie. This was my brother and I's Christmas Eve tradition. Watch Die Hard.
I first discovered Die Hard on the USA Network. Take a drink. And watched it many times on one Saturday mornings, afternoons, whenever they were playing it. A random Tuesday. Yeah, it's one of those movies where you're watching it and you're like, wow, this is pretty nuts. You know what I mean?
It's at any age you can just be like, this is a fantastic movie.
I'd say the movie itself is a very great self-contained story. But are you a fan of Bruce Willis? He's the iconic hero in the movie. Bruce Willis has an up and down career. John McClane is his most iconic role, and that's
to this day,
as they keep making Die Hard sequels, and will probably make 2 more by the time we're all said and done. Kevin Smith has gone on record saying he's a fucking dick and hated working on him on Cop Out. Fucking dick, by the way, was a direct quote. What do you make of Bruce Willis?
He has an interesting career. I think he can be good when his heart is in it, but his heart's not always in it.
Right. A lot of weird stories about Bruce Willis. I mean, this doesn't really affect his acting at all, but a lot of weird things said about Bruce Willis. In the 90s, he said that movies cost too much because they pay the crew too much, which is like a really addicting to say, especially when he's a legitimate movie star, someone they put on the poster, name above the title, gets a lot of money for movies, especially in the 90s where it was all star driven. So it's like, that 15 mil that you got, that's where $15 million went. The crew's actually working on the movie. You know what I mean?
Yep, they're doing the stuff that you're too pansy to do.
Right.
You're not gonna move. You're not moving a cable, Bruce Willis. I don't see you rigging stuff.
So when I used to work on film sets, I worked on a couple and on mostly commercials and things. But the guy was talking about how he worked on a Bruce Willis show, and Bruce Willis, I guess, does every week he does a raffle, or maybe even every day. I think it's every week. He does a raffle, and whoever wins the raffle gets he just gives him $200.
Damn.
Because he made a really bad name for himself in the 90s with Cruise, so this is why I guess it's like a thing of goodwill. But apparently he's kind of a shitty dude, and I don't know, he would ask Grips to get him coffee, and it's like, ask a PA to get you coffee. Grips there to do grip work.
Yeah, Kevin Smith talked about there's a moment on Cop Out when Kevin Smith didn't know the lingo for one of the lenses on the camera, and he chewed him out for that
in front of the whole crew.
Yeah,
it does. I mean, Kevin Smith should know lenses. He should know a 50 does this and 100 does that, and what's wide and what's long. But I guess he just kind of was making a box with his hands about how close he wanted to get, and the DP was cool with it. He's just like, okay, I'll just interpret that or whatever. And I guess Bruce Willis was thought this was extremely unprofessional and the height of rudeness, and decided to let him have it in front of everybody.
It's just strange reputation this guy's got.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of great movies, strange reputation.
Yep.
A lot of bad movies, too. Color of Night. Someone else Kevin Smith has worked with, how about Alan Rickman? Always cast as a villain. He has a wide range as an actor. Directed a movie recently. What do you make of Alan Rickman?
Alan Rickman, the opposite of Bruce Willis. Fantastic in just about everything he does. Always dependable. He can do a really sneering villain, but he is also extremely funny. And he can do more serious period pieces. He's very versatile and just unmistakably iconic, I think. So,
and he directed a movie recently called A Little Chaos, which was very interesting.
I didn't see that.
It's a period piece where a woman is designing the garden in Versailles, and it's not based on any historical realness. I mean, a woman would never be able to do that in that period of time. But it was a very interesting movie and about a lot of interesting topics. So something to recommend, I think.
Now, am I not mistaken? Did you go to a Q&A with Alan Rickman?
I did go to a Q&A with Alan Rickman. He was there. He was very monotone. I can't do an Alan Rickman, but he's very monotone.
Very monotone.
Yeah. He talked like that, and part of the movie is about having lost as a mother, and then a lot of women in the crowd somehow knew about this. I didn't know anything about this movie going into it. A lot of women knew about that. They came in and they were telling their own stories of personal loss, and it got heavy real quick. But he kind of was ready for it, and he handled it like a pro. Was leaving the cinema, going to my car, was forced to park on the lowest level in the very back. Next to me is I won't name the make and the model, but there's a car with a Snape vanity license plate, and I'm like, this has to be Alan Rickman's car. He has a car his license plate just said Snape on it.
Was it? Was it his car?
We waited around for 5 minutes, but then we had to leave because we can't. That's stalkerish if we wait anymore. You know what I mean? But I gotta think it was his. It was and again, I'm not gonna out the make and the model, but it was a black car, and I feel like he would drive a black car.
Was it a consumer level car or a fancy car?
Yes, it was not. It was not a fancy car.
Not a fancy car. All right.
It was not a fancy car. We talked a lot about John McTiernan in our last Action Hero episode. He directed that movie. He directed a lot of action movies in the 90s. Why do you think that Die Hard has endured so long? And, part of that is it stands on its own. We don't talk about any of their sequels, really. We talk about the newer ones when they come out, but, no one really holds Die Hard 2 against the Die Hard franchise, which is a terrible movie.
Yeah. Or you mean terrible franchise?
The franchise is, I'm not really familiar with the 4 and 5, but 2 is absolutely terrible. 3 is kind of... there's good elements of it, but overall, I don't think it's a great movie. The first rated R movie I saw in the theater.
Ooh, there you go.
And what do you make about the franchise?
It's interesting how bulletproof it is to the lackluster sequels. Because, I feel like The Matrix, people look back on that first one.
Tainted.
After those sequels go on and say, maybe we were wrong.
Right. Which they are not wrong. That first movie, The Matrix first movie, is great.
Yeah, exactly. And Die Hard, it's a timeless story told extremely well. And even though it's thought of as just, oh, it's an action movie, extremely well told action movie, and that's what really has carried it. You know, endearing in that everything that comes out now is like Die Hard on a blank.
Right.
That's like, it's become the template, and it's just that good. You know, impeccable directing, acting,
action,
just everything.
Quotable, highly quotable.
Very quotable.
Yeah. It's a lot you want in a action movie.
Yep. There's just nothing stopping it from being great.
A lot of action movies are pitched, like you just said, as Die Hard on a blank. What Die Hard on a blank do you want to see?
At a funeral home.
At a funeral home.
That'd be great.
Not at a funeral, at a funeral home.
Yep.
That would be great. That would be great.
Because you got the crematorium.
Right.
Put a bad guy in there, fry him. You got coffins that you can hide in. You got lots of different spaces and environments.
Right. You have all the showrooms with all the coffins in it. You do a great sequence where someone hides in those.
Yep.
You know?
Dude,
you could do a funny gag with a kiss coffin.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually a really good one. In a cemetery out here, we have the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which is a very large cemetery with a huge mausoleum. You know, and that would make a good thing there. And you're shooting up a bunch of gravestones and stuff, and recurring gag of someone always stepping on gravestones and being like, "Damn it, don't want to do that."
Bad luck.
Yeah.
So yeah, Die Hard in a funeral home.
I would say I want to see Die Hard in a library or an archive. So it's like Die Hard meets National Treasure.
Ah, interesting. Like, want to preserve some things, but, you know.
And also a mystery that you have to solve. So you have to, figure out what are the Gettysburg Address hit? What are the hidden messages?
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, Die Hard on a blimp, just to see if you can do it.
That's kind of part of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's kind of Die Hard on the blimp.
Oh, you know what? Yeah,
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay, it's been done. Never done Die Hard in a funeral home or Die Hard in an archive though. So I want to see that.
Die Hard on the Goodyear blimp, perhaps.
Fuck it.
Flying over a big sporting event.
I'm over this idea now.
All right.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Fucking blimps.
Rapid fire. Here we go. It's a game we play. Coke or Pepsi. No right or wrong answer. We just ask a question, then answer it.
Go.
Hans Gruber or Mick Gruber?
I like Matt Gruber. Or MacGruber.
Better?
The Saturday Night Live skit. So funny. Although Hans Gruber is great.
Hans Gruber. I root for the villain. John McClane or John Matrix? Or McBain?
Ooh. I'm going John Matrix, ultimately.
Who's John Matrix?
Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in Commando.
Oh, I'm gonna go McBain.
All right.
Best FBI deputy, Johnson or Johnson?
I'm going with Johnson on that one.
Johnson, I agree. More badass, taping the gun to your back or running around with no shoes?
I gotta say run around no shoes.
I gotta agree. Also stupider, but more badass indeed.
But they set it up in the screenplay.
It's great. Best non-Gruber Alan Rickman villain, Snape or Judge Turpin from Sleepy Hollow? From Sweeney Todd.
As good as Judge Turpin is, he made Snape really iconic. Professor Snape.
Snape, no doubt. Armageddon versus Deep Impact. Which one do you choose?
Ultimately, I'm going Armageddon. Because I think Armageddon knows how dumb it is. I think.
And for that reason, I will agree with you, sir. Best Die Hard foreign translation. So, these are some foreign translations. Here we go. Die Slowly, Very Hard to Die, Action Skyscraper, or The Glass Trap. Bonus, Die Hard 3 in Denmark is called Die Hard Mega Hard.
Wow, that's such a good title.
And?
I really love Action Skyscraper. That just sounds like the kind of action movie you'd buy at a car wash. Action Skyscraper.
I like Die Hard Mega Hard, and I think that should be what Die Hard 6 is called.
Yep.
But I think Very Hard to Die is the best one.
That's like the most foreign translation.
But it's also the most accurate representation of what the movie is. Like, you can't kill this guy.
He's very tough to kill. It's very hard to die.
Which is a trope of all action movies that in Die Hard is really paid off well, right?
Yep.
Where it's like you believe that this guy's hard to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Machete 2 is the worst version of this. Worst Steven DeSouza Die Hard follow-up. Road Die Hard, his follow-up. R. Street Fighter or Judge Dredd?
Oh boy. Street Fighter is so bad. The Raul Julia Jean-Claude Van Damme, Kylie Minogue starring vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastically bad, but it is terrible.
Biblically terrible. And that's your choice?
So bad, yeah.
I mean, both of them are movies that absolutely don't understand their source material and mock them in a way that only Hollywood can.
Mm-hmm.
And so, There's no wrong answer here at all. But Street Fighter, I feel like, is so divergent. Like, Judge Dredd is a comedic version of Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Street Fighter is a nothing. Has nothing to do with the source material at all.
I mean, E. Honda is a reporter. It's like he's a sumo wrestler.
Well, it's also there's street fighting. There are people who
Yep.
fight in an underground fighting league, which is we can't even broach this topic without my blood boiling. Randy's Donuts or Winchell's?
Randy's all the way.
Is that a serious question? Would anyone say Winchell's over Randy's?
I mean, anybody who's never had Randy's might say that.
I mean, I don't think I've ever had Randy's, but I know that they're better than Winchell's.
Go get Randy's Donuts.
Well, let's go, homie. Let's just put these down.
They're open 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Oh, really? 24 hours a day?
24 hours.
Where's it at?
It's on. It's in Inglewood.
Okay, so
I believe it's
we'll be
on.
going in the daytime.
It's on Manchester Boulevard. You can't miss it. Big ceramic donut.
Yeah. Famous from many movies.
Yes.
Twinkies, snowballs, ding dongs. What do you like?
I like Twinkies. I have a newfound appreciation for Twinkies.
Newfound.
Yeah. Because they had that panic where the Twinkie was going to go away. And I had a box. I was like, I should buy a Twinkie. I haven't had a Twinkie in forever. I like Twinkies. They're tasty.
I'm going to say fuck them all.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Especially snowballs, though. Snowballs suck.
They're pretty gross.
Coconut, give me a break.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad. All right, so this is another game we play. It's called What This Movie. It's to contextualize what we're about to say when we review the movie. We tell you if we've seen movies that belong in a similar vein, being Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman movies. Have you seen it? If so, did you like it? Sin City.
Good, but has not held up.
I would say great. Sin City 2.
Didn't see it.
Terrible.
Looked terrible.
It was terrible.
I believe it. My instincts were correct. Once again.
Hudson Hawk.
Not very good.
Guilty pleasure. Pulp Fiction.
I mean, seminal. Legendary.
I was going to say Seminal 2.
Seminal words.
Sweeney Todd.
Great.
Never seen it. Galaxy Quest.
Hilarious.
Never seen it.
Well, what?
Dogma. Never saw Galaxy Quest, man. I
Oh,
don't tell
man,
you.
you gotta do that. Dogma is one that I'm not a huge fan of.
Really? When I was a kid in Catholic school, that movie was the Bible.
True.
But I don't know how it's held up. Surrogates.
Terrible.
Yeah, just
That's one of those Bruce Willis movies you just shake your head.
really, really dreck. The Fifth Element.
Underrated gem.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I do have fond memories of it.
I watched it recently. It holds up pretty well. It's still just psycho and weird.
Yeah. Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton edition.
Not very good.
Never saw it, never will.
Don't need to.
Perfume, the story of a murderer.
Great underrated film.
Oh,
Check
yeah?
it out.
Never saw it.
Alan Rickman, fantastic in it. Lots of great performances. Check it out.
The Whole Nine Yards.
Not very good.
Never seen it. Unbreakable.
M. Night Shyamalan's best movie.
Do you like it?
I do like it. Yes.
I've never seen it.
Really?
We're gonna add it to the list.
Wow.
We're gonna add it to the
Okay.
list. Michael Collins. Never even heard of this.
That was a movie from Ireland. It's got Liam Neeson and Alan Rickman stars in it. It's okay.
Love Actually.
Good parts and bad parts. So
This is a movie that my girlfriend has been like trying to get me to see for going on 10 years, and so I'll eventually see it. But
you gotta
kicking and screaming.
you gotta set aside a block of time. It is long.
It's also another Christmas movie, right?
Indeed, it is.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Not as good as the book, but it was funny.
Oh yeah, I've never seen it, but I heard it was bad. But it's interesting. The Sixth Sense.
I mean, it's good. I don't think it's quite held up over time.
That and the
No
Blair Witch
influence.
Project blew my balls off in '99, but yeah, I haven't seen it since.
Yep.
Last Boy Scout.
Underrated action movie from the great Tony Scott.
Never seen it. R.I.P. Bottle Shock.
Never saw it.
Never saw that either. A Little Chaos, which I just told a story about, and will say that I liked a lot.
I did not see it, but want to.
12 Monkeys.
Great film.
Yeah, it's good.
Yep.
It's good. The Jackal.
Never saw it.
You know,
It's that late '90s action movie.
you could
right?
take it. You could take it or leave it. Mercury Rising.
That movie's terrible. I remember watching it on USA, and I was like 12, and I was like, "What? Even I know this is bad."
Nah. Tears of the Sun.
Pretty generic military movie. It's not that good.
Never saw it. Played on FX a lot at one point, but I never
Yeah.
saw it. Planet Terror.
It's pretty good.
I think that was that's a real fun zombie movie.
It's pretty good.
16 Blocks.
Never saw it.
Die Hard on 16 Blocks.
Yeah.
I never saw it either. Lucky Number 11.
Never saw it.
I saw it. I remember liking it, but it was in that time in the early 90s where it's like, early 2000s where it's just like, I need movies to be cooler, and they're not. You know what I mean? Moonrise Kingdom.
Great film.
I've never seen it, but it's on Netflix now, so I'm gonna try to rectify that.
You
soon.
have no excuse.
Red.
Never saw it.
It's fucking great.
That's what I've heard, and I just haven't gotten around.
It
to
really is a very well executed movie.
Excellent.
Looper.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Dude.
Fantastic.
Looper. Fantastic.
Brian Johnson had because he was on Kevin Smith's podcast. He had a great experience with Will Smith, with Bruce Willis, and Will Smith too. I bet. Sense and Sensibility.
Never saw it.
I think me and the girlfriend watched it, and I like that. I like all these period.
I always get
things.
that and Age of Innocence mixed up.
I always get Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice mixed up.
So many period pieces.
And North and South. Those three they all went to one. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. You have previously stated how much you hate this movie.
This movie is terrible.
And I will say it is a guilty pleasure.
As it should be.
Look who's talking.
Oh man, so bad.
No good?
No good.
Do you guys have any other plugs, mugs, or pugs?
I just want to watch some Die Hard right now and talk some Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. Here we go.
Yippee-ki-yay. Motherfucker.
And we're back.
We're back.
Die Hard. Just watched it. Kev, when did you watch it?
I watched it yesterday at my house.
Let's peel back a layer of the onion. November 3rd.
Yeah.
Tuesday, November 3rd, you watched it at your house.
On my Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. And then before we did this episode and wrote it, I also watched it with commentary.
A couple months ago, or?
It's probably about a month ago.
Okay, cool.
The commentary is John McTiernan and the production designer, Jackson DeGovia.
Couldn't get old Dirty Bruce to participate, huh?
I just thought it was interesting that a production designer got to
It is
jibber jabber.
And we will get to that in 1 second. I watched it. I have a DVD copy that is a French Canadian copy, so like all the text is in both.
Got French too.
Yeah, French and in English. I don't know. I can't explain that, but also I was not in a good mood going into watching the movie. I was not feeling particularly well.
But this movie puts you in.
But this movie didn't. It didn't fucking matter because this movie is goddamn amazing.
And this one came out when Fox put out really great DVDs. They were like thick, and they had 2 discs, and they had tons of special features on them. It was like this, all the Alien movies, Fight Club. They had just great DVDs.
Mine's a little bit more
generic.
It might be like a rental thing. I don't know where I got this from. Why would I ever get it?
Yeah.
But do we want to summarize this movie really quick? Just keep it generic because we got to take this thing apart.
Yeah.
But John McClane a New York cop, comes to LA to visit his wife, who he is a bit estranged from. He thought that she would not last in LA, and she's thriving in LA. Comes to visit at One Nakatomi Plaza. A
multinational corporation headquartered in Japan.
Right, with a satellite office in Culver City, where she's a bigwig. They're having
Century City.
Century City. Excuse me. They're having their holiday party. It is interrupted by what appear to be terrorists. John flees up to the under construction part of the building, trying to come up with a plan. It's very clear that, he has seen that they have taken hostages and assumes that there'll be a negotiation or whatever. So,
but they don't know he's there. That's the key of it. They don't know there's some rogue New York cop running around.
They don't.
This building.
And lots of things happen. John tries to signal for help. It's dismissed as a hoax. A cop comes to investigate. John throws the terrorists out the window. It kind of attracts attention. The terrorists want this attention. It's revealed that they are not terrorists. They merely want to steal the bearer bonds. Bearer bonds?
Yeah.
Bearer bonds, which I guess I should have looked what that really means, but
It was the 80s.
yeah. And they just want the money, and this is all just a diversion. The idea is that they're gonna play into the FBI playbook, which is to cut the power, which unlocks the safe. Then they can get the bonds, and then the playbook is also to take them out once they take them to the roof, which they have also foreseen, and their plan is to blow the roof. John, through a lot of physical action and awesome planning, thwarts this attempt and saves all the hostages from being blown up on the roof. He kills everyone, and in the end saves his wife, to whom they have reconciled through this traumatic event. That was a terrible summary of Die Hard, but you know what? Fuck you. Go watch it.
Go watch Die Hard, you piece of shit.
God damn it. I don't know why we're so angry.
We love
Kev,
our viewers.
Kev, what do you think about this movie?
This is a great film.
I know.
There's no question about it.
I think we're at the point where Al is, the chief yells at Bruce Willis's character, and Al gets back on the phone and he says, How you doing, pal? And he's like, how you feeling? He's like, pretty fucking unappreciated. And I was like, the question about this movie is not if it is good. It is good. The question is, how is it this good? Right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a foregone conclusion this is a great movie. It's just, how is it so great? And that's what I kind of want to take apart here today. So, like, I think one of the things, and it's kind of interesting because the later movies have really shied away from this element of it, but there's an element of that he is not a super cop. He is just a flawed dude.
He's just a dude.
And that is, you find that out through visuals, through dialogue, through action. Like, the first thing that we see of this dude, the first shot of the movie that is of John McClane, Bruce Willis, is his white knuckle on the airline seat as they land. So the first time we see him, he's afraid.
Uh-huh.
He's not fucking,
Yeah, this Bruce Willis, super cop.
Yeah,
so cool.
Yeah, he's not super cool. He's not. This movie is the opposite of Cobra. The
Stallone.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Where it's like he's out of his element. You know what I mean? And that's immediately noticed. And then the guy is like, "Hey, man, like here's some friendly advice." You know what I mean? So it's like, that's how we meet this. That's how we introduce that character.
And then he grabs a teddy bear out of the
overhead compartment. Yeah, and then he, So it's like,
he gets off the plane. A buxom blonde woman jumps on her boyfriend and is like, "Oh wow!" And he goes, "California."
Yeah.
So yeah, we're immediately putting him out of his comfort zone.
And he is. It's not like he's out of his comfort zone, but he's cooler than everyone else. He's lost. He doesn't feel. So I think that is just a really interesting place to start this movie. And I mean, as you get into Die Hard, Good Day to Die Hard, and whatever Die Hard 5 was called.
Yeah, that was Good Day to Die Hard, and then Live Free.
Live Free or Die Hard. Right. I mean, he's like skateboarding down a MiG jet, onto another MiG jet, and it's like it just changes the game. You know what I mean? Where he's not this dude anymore. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was and I think the first kill also shows this, where he's fighting the blonde dude's brother, and he ends up killing him, but he doesn't take him out succinctly. They brawl. He tries to hold him up. That fails. They brawl, and the guy dies falling down a flight of stairs. John McClane doesn't even really kill him. Mm-hmm. It's like it was an accident.
Yep. And
and that fight was real sloppy, and he was getting the better of it, kind of. But you weren't like, this is a foregone conclusion. He wasn't fucking Captain America on his ass. You know what I mean?
He wasn't clearly the superior. It's like, this guy's 6 foot tall and Scandinavian. He's clearly like more athletic and stronger than he is.
Right.
McClane is just so scrappy,
right,
that he gets away with it.
So I just think that element of that movie, and by the time we get done with this movie, he is covered in soot head to toe. He's bleeding. He's all fucked up.
That tank top was sterling white at the beginning of that.
Well, there's a great scene where after he crawls through the vents, then he comes out and all of his clothes are like black.
Yep.
And it's like it's really good, and it just, we'll get to the physicality of the movie, but it's a really malleable world. You really feel like like anything can break. It's not like these aren't sets. It's like he's actually there, and it gives that feeling, and I really like that. Also, this movie is a masterclass in exposition.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking masterclass. Because they do the same. They do the trick. It's this one trick that they always do, right? They'll show you something, piques the audience's interest. then someone will say something about it. There'll be a little bit of talking, all quippy dialogue, and that talking will reveal the truth, right? So for example, in the beginning we see white knuckles on an airplane seat. The guy says, and so we're like, oh, that's weird. What is this? A guy leans over and says, hey, like, you want to know the secret? You when you get to wherever you're going, take off your shoes, take off your socks, put your bare feet on the rug, and make fists with your feet. John McClane's like, I don't know about that, and he's like,
fist with your feet.
Yeah. Is that?
That's what he says.
Yeah, that's how he says it. And then the guy goes, "Hey man, I've been doing this for 8 years. I know what I know what I'm talking about." And Bruce Willis like, "All right, I'll try that." And he reaches up, gun. A new thing that we see. And the guy kind of recoils. He's like, don't worry, I'm a cop. I've been doing this 11 years. So now we've learned that he doesn't like flying, but he's not so stubborn that he won't take advice from someone, that he's open to new things, that he's a cop, that he's a cop. He's not like a at the end of his career cop. He's 10 years in. He's a cop. You know what I mean?
He's peak cop.
Yeah. So it's like we've learned a lot, but all that medicine was covered up with all that ice cream. You know what I mean? Where it's just two dudes going back and forth.
And not forced at all, where it's like, oh man, that flight from New York sure was long.
Yeah, I hate flying. It's like, it's the downside of being bi-coastal. Am I right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, and no one had to be the butt of that joke. No one had to be like the shitty character.
Yep.
Like, this movie only has one really shitty character, and it feels like a...
Who's that?
The bearded dude.
Hans.
No.
Booby.
No. Oh, yeah.
That guy.
Not Hans. Hans is lovable. I have his name right here. It's, fuck, why is it?
Stand by for name.
Ellis is the dude. That's the coworker who's like a sales guy or whatever he is.
Does coke.
Fucking hitting on married women, trying to negotiate with terrorists.
I do $1 million deals for breakfast.
Hans, Booby, I can get you the guy. Yeah, I mean, he's a highly quotable character, great, but there's no one like him in that movie. Even the shitty, like, commanding cop guy, the white dude with the tie, who's yelling at Carl Winslow from Urkel, the Urkel Show. Also, in my house, it's not Family Matters, it's the Urkel Show, just like it's the Balky Show, just like Simpsons is the Couch Gag Show.
Yeah. Wow. You've reduced Simpsons to the couch gag.
It was the couch. It's the couch!
All right.
Because by the time you figure out The Simpsons is on, you already had that couch.
That's true.
So even that character of the cop on the ground, he's incompetent, but he's funny. He's a dick, but then, you start off as a dick, and as he gets more incompetent, the funnier he gets.
Yeah.
Or they're going for the lights, like, that whole thing. But, yeah, Ellis is the only shitty character. Everyone else is... pretty much cool, you know what I mean? Like, we're not mad at anyone else in the movie. We're not really mad. I guess the newscaster, but like, there's a version of this movie where the couple that bursts into McClane's wife's office, they want to fuck somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, there's a version where they're shitty, but they're not shitty. They're like, oh, sorry, wrong room,
wrong room.
and then later we see that they got hot and heavy only to be broken up by terrorists.
Yep.
So this is the exposition, man. We can,
Well, then the shoe thing builds up to a major conflict in the story. John McClane doesn't have any shoes on.
Right.
This whole exposition,
which is constantly being called back, where he tries to steal the terrorist shoe and it's too small, and then the glass scene. So it's like
shoe smaller than my sister.
Right. So the whole movie feels it adds to a level. It's like the exposition leads into action, which makes the movie feel so cohesive. Where it's like we're not forgetting anything, and it's like visually, thematically, dialogue, everything is like that bear is in the whole movie, and because the movie takes place over the course of like maybe 12 hours at the most,
maybe.
It's like everything feels like it's all tied together. Like at a certain point, we still Argyle still has the bear in his limo.
Yep.
It's like John McClane doesn't have shoes for the whole thing. It's just great. You know what I mean?
She there's another good exposition reveal of. His wife is on the phone, and we don't know who she is yet, but it just pans over and we see kids, and then we see the picture of the family together.
Right.
But then as she's talking, she gets mad at John, and she puts the photo down.
Which
means Hans Gruber doesn't see that. But then later it's revealed he lifts that photo up, and you're McClane's wife. Now I have a chip to use against John.
Right.
So just more great exposition.
Right. Totally. And then Argyle when they're driving down Olympic, and Argyle is just like, hey, I used to, you always talk so much. It's like, oh, I didn't know you guys in the front seat, and I used to be a cab driver. It's like, there's so much that where you're just like, subtly, the movie makes you want to know these. Like, why is this guy talking so much? They do things, and in your mind, it triggers a question, and then they answer that question. And it's done just like a fucking tasty ham sandwich. Perfectly.
Yes.
Also, going back on this movie, and feel free to interject here, because I'm just going to gush. The way it's shot it's so precise.
Clean.
And I guess I always knew that, but like watching it again now, it's just like when and this is no better personified than when the bad guys show up, and it's like the way the camera is moving through the building feels like the filmmakers are very intimately familiar with this, and this is back when they had just built this thing, right? So it's like, how familiar could it's not like they worked, it's not like someone worked there for 10 years and made a movie in there, right? Yeah. It's like they had to location scout it and then whatever, but it's like as the guys move around, the two dudes come in and they're it's like feeds the magic, feeds back to whatever, and then 2 points, and then it hops over the desk, and the way everything just feels like they know exactly where to put the camera, exactly like when the dude's walking up to the staircase and he puts his arms on the banisters and slides down. At least they know how to shoot that scene and give us a sense of the space. It's like the 30th floor is the floor with the main lobby with the water treatment thing, and then there's the vault in the back, and then the offices, and then I don't know, man. It's just the way the movie's shot. You never feel lost. It's like
another great one is Hans Gruber's first reveal. It's like 2 guys come out, they're very much in the frame, and then they walk past, and then there's Hans Gruber.
Yeah, they separate, and Hans Gruber.
It immediately tells you this is the main guy.
Right.
This is our main villain. He looks it. We've revealed him that way where he's framed. And he is the dude. And it's like, this is going to be our asshole for an hour and a half.
Right. And the first time they go up to the roof, they do that too, where John passes the centerfold cutout, and he looks at it, and then he passes it by, and he goes out the door, and he comes back around. And then when we come back to that room, we know where we're going. We know that he can't go this way. He has to go back that way, because that way leads back to the roof, and the roof is where the bad guys are.
And this is why the production designer got to talk on the commentary.
Yes.
Because the production design in this movie is flawless, and it tells the story.
Real quick, what does a production designer do?
The production designer builds the sets, decorates the sets.
Who's responsible for, like, the props and things?
Yeah, props.
And there's the look of the
look, overall, painting it the right color that the director of photography needs. All that stuff. Basically, everything that you can see, touch, smell, taste, the production designer is basically in charge of that.
Right. So what did he say?
So, yeah, he just talked about, again, how do we use the building to tell the story that we need. So you have, like, the computer screens that tell you what floor they're on, 30th floor. Then they have all these visual things of, like, well, where is that noise coming from? Well, that's coming from the 32nd floor. Go check it out. And it gives you, very early in the movie, it gives you a sense of geography.
Right.
Of where everything is. The hostages are on the 30th floor. McClane starts on the 32nd floor. He knows the naked lady picture is on this floor. And like you said, uses that as his guide.
Right.
Because he knows. You got the elevator shaft, and you can pretty much count down. It's like, oh, he's got to get to the 32nd floor. And he's on the 38th floor. That's a long fucking drop he's got to take.
Yeah.
And it's all done visually. It's not a lot of people saying, he's on the 32nd floor. Oh, I'm on the 38th floor. It's all everything looks very distinct. And it's told in a way that, again, like a lot of things in this movie, it's not forced.
Right.
It makes sense.
There's a shot where when he's first running away from the bad guys, when they first take the building, he runs up to the 31st floor, opens it, and it's I can't remember I don't remember the specific name, but you see the sign. He says 31. He opens. He says computers. He opens up. 32 construction. Ugh, and he keeps running up. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, they're giving you that geography the whole time.
And it's very important to, again, knowing where the safe is, where like the C4 is stashed away at, where the terrorists are pursuing, how far John McClane goes up in the elevator. It's all very precise and very brilliantly thought out before anybody rolled a camera on it. They didn't just go in this place and start shooting. They absolutely thought out every little detail. Where does the camera point? How far down is that body gonna fall when he throws it? Where's the cop's vantage point? You know, where do they set up the rocket launcher when the thing goes? It's all very so masterfully put together that you never lose track of where you are in Nakatomi.
Yeah, you see that with the SWAT team, where it's like the SWAT team, like where, you know, they're across the street and the SWAT team comes up the other side of the street. You know what I mean? And you get the sense, and then the tech guy, the bad guy's tech guy, is like they're coming on, you know, the back of the building. So we know that that's the opposite side where Carl Winslow is right now. It's the other side.
Yep.
So then, you know, so it's like, it's such a fucking good movie. I'm like running my throat's parched with how good this movie is. Speaking of that, there's a physicality in this movie that makes it feel like it's not a movie. It makes it, I mean, obviously it feels like a movie, but it makes it feel like it's not fake, right? Like Hans kills a guy and then he goes through the guy's bag and he pulls out the stuff that he needs and he leaves the stuff that he doesn't need, right? So he like pulls out 2 clips and now, you know, he has 2 extra clips. And then he pulls out, you know, the guy's fake ID and he looks at it, he studies it, he puts it away. And
then that builds into him revealing, you know, proving he is a cop to Reginald Vell Johnson's character.
Right, because he says, I've seen a lot of fake IDs, enough to know when someone has the money for a good one. Exactly. And then in terms of like fighting, I always loved this movie, and I think this movie put video games into perspective for me, where it's like the idea that, like, you know, so when Hans Gruber, he's like, no bullets, Han, we think I'm stupid, and then ding, you were saying how Bruce Willis just shoots the gun and runs away, and that causes the bad guys to like hide for a minute, so he, you know what I mean, like the idea that you could set up cover fire for yourself, people blind shoot around the corner, they're shooting through stuff. Just that level of physicality that makes it feel so interactive. Like, I love that. It kind of reminds me, this movie does it way more, but it reminds me of Tremors. How Tremors is a very physical movie. Yeah. And I feel like this movie is like that to like so many more, right? And you'll see rooms of computers and boring rooms full of computers. And then later, that room full of computers, they shoot out all the glass and John gets his foot cut up going to the exit. And it's just like, I love how...
and provides a lot of hiding spaces and cover points for everybody in that room. So
I just love how it feels like there's bullets in that gun, right? It feels like not every bad guy just has infinite bullets and they can just whatever. You see people reloading, you see people...
Well, and you see John McClane run out and he can't do anything, so he just leaves the machine gun behind.
Right, exactly. Yes, and then when he uses the machine gun to rappel down the thing, I just love how it's like, it doesn't feel like it... It's I don't know. There's that level. It just adds so much to the texture of the movie.
It's because I think it's limited too. He has
the stuff that he has.
He has limited resources, and he, again, this is a testament to his character. He just got to make it do it. You know, he's got to make it work.
Right. And
I'm going to use a machine gun and a screwdriver and an axe to prop open this elevator.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I love that. Yeah, he's like, he hits the elevator stop button. You know what I mean? It just feels like they're really using the space well with the action, and it just, you know, like sometimes I'll watch an action movie and I'm like, why do I not love this more? You know, or opposite. Like I feel like this movie and The Raid have this physicality that is just so visceral, and something like Underworld, I think I don't like that movie because it just feels like everything's a set and if you touched it would fall over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like Underworld's kind of like all you're eating is chocolate ice cream. It's pretty good, but you're getting a little sick of chocolate ice cream because you're seeing the same thing all the time. Whereas Die Hard is like vanilla with M&Ms and caramel and a wafer in that bad boy.
But
it's lots of different things.
in all the right amounts.
In all the right amounts, exactly. It's tables are breaking, glass is breaking. The muzzle flashes,
really big bright.
I read that they actually had to like modify the guns to get a bigger muzzle flash out of the blanks because that's what McTiernan wanted. Because McTiernan is very smart.
Yes. So. Although I guess it gave Bruce Willis permanent ear damage when he was shooting the guy through the table.
Well, that's what you get for Moonstruck, Bruce.
This is also like such a little thing, but it's when they have the rocket launcher and they bolt it to the floor.
Yeah.
Something about that is just so, that little extra thing that just adds so much texture.
Because, it's like you can't just shoot a rocket like that. It would fire backwards. It's tons of power. But it's like they know, gotta bolt that thing down. And he's got that perfect little bolt gun. It goes ka-chunk, and you're like, oh, fuck, this is for real.
It's getting heavy. And just the last thing on this, they don't repeat gags and they don't milk gags either, right?
There's no running jokes in this, really.
No.
Not that I can think of.
There's some like visual. I mean, not visual. Auditory, like yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah.
They call that back once. You know what I mean? And they call him cowboy and stuff. But like, like when there's another worse version of this movie where John ties the fire hose to his stomach and jumps off the building. And then he's stuck right there, and he has to swing back and forth. Like that whole thing happens very quickly. He kicks off. He's banging on the glass, and he's kicking off it. Then he shoots it a bunch, and then he goes through the glass, falls down. The metal piece, the cylinder that the hose wraps around, falls down. He starts getting pulled out. He unties his gun. We never come back to anything like that ever again.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's just like. And that happened really quick. And it's like the movie just has a lot of ideas, which again reminds me of Scream, where it's like we're not doing the same thing over and over again, and once it's over, it's over. We don't need to just sit here and just,
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Not
great.
constantly pounding you over the head with like, I'm so clever, look at me. It's just, using all the different textures and things.
Or like, also like when people try to build fake tension, like, oh, it's tense. Is he going to be able to, well, we know he's going to be able to swing into it, so just do it already.
Yeah, just do it.
Well, we
also,
don't-
I love the bloody footprints.
Yeah. So
Just
good.
noticing that for the first time. Well, I mean, I've seen this movie.
Yeah,
many
but just
times.
appreciating that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's just such a cool image. His foot's bloody.
Right, and they save the things where we don't know how it's going to go down. Like in the end, he has 2 bullets and he's trying to save his wife. We don't know exactly how that's going to go down. Obviously, if you're a fan of Western movies, you assume that he's going to save his wife. But does Hans escape? Like, there's another version of this movie where Hans just gets the fuck out of there, right?
Yep.
And the whole rest of the Die Hard series is Hans versus Bruce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or John McClane.
Yeah. And another great moment, too, when Hans is dangling from the building and he's holding on to the wife's watch.
The Rolex.
The
mentioned
Rolex
earlier.
that booby dude, Ellis, gave her, and John has to unhook it. And, like, that's another thing. It built up so long ago.
Do you think they're implying that they ever hooked up?
Oh, I think they're totally implying that, personally. So, like, the way he kind of just, like, leers at her, And it's very much, like, kind of always trying to be macho around John, and trying to be the power male.
Or do we think that he's trying to fuck her and that she's not dissuaded by him?
I think they've done the deed.
You think so?
Personally. I think they have. But I just think it's kind of good symbolism of, like, that's the watch that he gave her, and then John's letting it go, and, like, and that's ultimately kills Hans. Again, built up to it. It's not just a watch he's wearing. It's a specific meaning to that watch. Which is great. All the way through the end of this movie. It's just there.
Totally.
Totes.
Another reason why this movie's so great, there's great comedy. And, okay, there's one-liners, and, it's interesting because movies from this era, especially with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, have these terrible one-liners that are, like, kind of, you appreciate them for how silly it is, right? There's a kind of movie, a kind of, like, exploitation movie or kind of action movie where you can appreciate not like this is a great cohesive piece of art, but this is just like a wackadoo fun thing.
Yeah.
But all of the one-liners work, and you have the only character that's 100% comedy is Argyle, right? Argyle is a comedy character, but they give funny lines to John, they give funny lines to Hans, they give funny lines to the wife, they give funny lines to everybody, and it's just a weird thing. Even the blonde guy, right, where he's like, he's naming terrorist groups like the Red Dawn or something like that, and he's like.
He's like, who's that? And then Hans is like, I read it in time. And
Yeah,
it goes back to being like mean terrorists.
Which in the comedy is balanced. Like John gets really mad at some points, gets really sad at some points. Hans gets really frustrated at points, really angry at some points. But they're able to insert this comedy. And Hans is a funny guy. You know what I mean? He's like, I could talk about terrorism and men's like suits all night.
Yeah.
But what I really want is the code to the vault.
Yeah.
It's just like. I don't know. They're not afraid to make them funny characters.
There's great little moments like Hans shoots Takagi, and then the blonde guy immediately hands Carl $20.
Yes.
It's like that's just a bet they had. Like, oh, I bet Hans is gonna kill this guy.
Right.
And, like he just immediately hands it, and then it's never spoken again. It's just great little moments.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
When John McClane is making fists with his feet, and he's like. son of a bitch, it works.
Right, exactly. And it's like, you know, they're not afraid to. They're just not. It's just like, This movie is a movie that is taking place on basically one location, right? Albeit a very big one location, but they're not afraid to fill it full of things. And comedy is one of them.
Yep.
You know, and you know his one-liners are funny. He's like, "Welcome to the party, pal," and like, you know, this terrorist has smaller feet than my sister. You know, it's just like these are just weird lines, and you know, just like he's just New York cop. It's just it all comes together. You know what I mean? And that's again, that's part of him being a human character, and it's also why Han is such a likable villain. Where it's just like he doesn't give a shit about any of this. He just you know,
it's all a show to get to have the FBI go through their book of how to deal with the terrorists so they can get their thing, and he's just playing with it. You know,
he's like he's like you're all of this. I thought it was all about freedom for your whatever, but you're just a lousy thief. He's like, I'm a exceptional thief. Thank you, and a hostage negotiator, which you should appreciate. And he like crawls away.
Well, then there's the scene when Hans and John meet for the first time. And Hans is smart enough to realize, okay, this is John McClane, but he has no idea who I am. There's no way he's seen me.
Right.
And then he puts on that terrible American accent and is like, oh, God, don't
oh, God, you're one of them. Oh, no. I remember when I first saw this movie on the USA Network when I was, 12 years old. I remember seeing that scene and just being like, fuck, that's like so good because he doesn't know what he looks like. And then John did know that was him because he gave him the gun. You're like, don't give him the gun.
Yep.
Gives him the gun. He's like, no bullets. What do you think? I'm stupid? Like,
yep.
Because he's trying to get as much information out of Hans as he can, which turns out not to be very much, but
Yeah, it's one of the great meetings of. It's up there with the diner scene in Heat, I think, of the meeting of the hero and the villain.
But this one's much more fun than
this one. Yeah, this one's supposed to be funnier, supposed to be more lighthearted. Heat, of course, very heavy movie. So
and that is the final reason that I have this movie so great because it is well written. We've alluded to this in the past, but just that level of understanding where the audience is in this movie. And there's another scene where Hans is like, Mr. McClane, are you there? And it's like, oh shit, now he knows who he is. And because off camera, Ellis has told him John's name. And so he says, oh, should I say John McClane of the New York whatever? I have someone here that you haven't seen in a while. And John thinks it's going to be his wife. But as the audience, we know it's probably going to be Ellis. And then it is Ellis. And it's just that this cat and mouse thing going on throughout the whole movie. And the scene that you brought up is the best example of it, where it's just like, as the audience, we know that they don't know what each other look like, but Hans knows this guy doesn't belong, and John doesn't know that, and it's just that thing. It's just that back and forth thing and
he's got the gun hidden, and he's like, "Oh, let's go! Like this is the way out. Let's go this way." And Hans is just trying to get to his gun that he has hidden, but then he stops him, and and then the tension again through the cinematography. You know what the cinematographer was for this movie?
No,
Jan de Bont.
Who did?
The director of Speed.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, he shot a lot of action movies in the 80s before he became a director, but yeah, directed Speed.
Is he still fucking around, or?
I haven't heard from him in a while. I think he rolls with, like, Luc Besson.
Oh, yeah, that whole business?
Yeah, the Europa pictures. Anyways, but yeah, you got the gun in the foreground that Hans is hidden, him trying to do his act, McClane doing his thing to like stall him, in a way that he doesn't know, and it's just you're building all this tension in like one or two shots. Again, just brilliant.
Let's get into nitpicks here, if you have any. I got
a couple.
Very few. Well, let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Go.
He drops that thing of C4. That's a pretty big explosion for one block of C4. Just saying, it's kind of huge.
I think the logic in the movie is that more detonators means more explosion.
Yeah, I think so.
Hans and Co don't seem very mad when their people are killed. I mean, what's his name, Kyle or what was that blonde guy's name with the blonde with the long hair?
Carl? No.
Carl is upset when his brother is killed, but like when anyone else is killed in their group, no one seems to notice.
I mean, it's
not even like
when the two FBI guys die, it's played for a laugh. Well, it's like we need to get more FBI guys.
Right. But I'm saying with the terrorists, right? They're like, when the terrorists die, it's not like, oh wait, this is a 12-man mission. We can't do it with 7 guys.
Yeah.
They don't even care. It's like, no, we'll be fine.
True. 70 cents a gallon gas. Hurts my heart.
Wife talking to nanny. She says, "What would I do without you?" And then hangs up the phone. No goodbye, you fucking cold-hearted bitch. Jesus.
And also making your nanny work on Christmas Eve. For God's sake.
Well, I assume that she's living, but that's it. I'll concede to you. Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, let's go straight into cool stuff. I mean, we've said a lot, so I'm just going to talk about this kind of like the small cool things. And I got two of them. One, great slow-mo, especially when Hans is at the end there. Great. Also, bonus points, no shit slow-mo.
No shitty slow-mo. I like Hans's fall at the end.
Yeah.
And I was just like really long and they're all just watching and then it's kind of just at the end. And like, oh.
Also, we are both old enough so that we grew up with movies that did not have computer graphics in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And doing a shot like that was always something that was a little bit bobo. You know what I mean? Like, I believe the first Batman movie did not have had a similar shot that was not done well when the Joker falls down. Yeah. And that shot is executed well with the front plate, the back plate feeling like it's appropriately far away, and that Hans is falling into it as opposed to falling toward the flat painting.
And then having a real stuntman for the wide shot actually like falling out of that building, which how did somebody not die? I don't know.
I don't know either. Also, last thing, news footage. Normally I hate news footage in movies because it's a cheap way to like give us information. But that's not this movie. It's played up for comedy or satire or to further the plot, which I thought was very interesting. Where it's like in the beginning, the news is just kind of like this satirical, like look at these incompetent boobs, and then later it's like they actually contribute to the plot where they're it's like they reveal the fact that the parents are like, what do you want to say to both of your parents? And then that's what clues Hans to like.
That's when he lifts the picture up. It's like, oh, you're Mrs. McClane.
Real slow play on this.
Yeah, Mrs. McClane.
And then in the end, the guy gets punched in the face.
He gets punched in the face because he's an asshole. Mm-hmm. This movie does kind of have a little bit of that 80s Reagan streak in it, where it's the lone hero is the guy who's always right, and it's the authorities that always suck and are fucked up.
Well, there's very, I would agree with you, but there's shades to this, right? Like, you have the good-natured police chief guy who is like, he's like, let me call the mayor before we cut the power. He's like, he wants to play by the book for better or for worse. Then you got the FBI guys who are just like, we'll lose 20% of the hostages. We don't care.
And,
They're just...
And he's like, I can live with that without even blinking.
Right. So, and then you have Al, who is also a cop, who is an authority figure, who is smarter than the other guys. So there's a real, like, working class, I think, message here, and like the so-called authority people don't know what they're doing. It's like the people who actually are on, the street level are like the smarter people. So it's interesting. But there's also a Reagan thing here too, where it's like, we're not really terrorists. We just like to we just want to steal some money.
Yeah. And then there's Ellis, of course, who is the definition of like Reaganomics type dude. It's like, $1 million for breakfast. Nom, nom, nom. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is that the greed...
Has the terrorist get him a Coke. That's funny.
Yeah. And he drinks it like an asshole.
Yeah. Doesn't even put ice in the glass. What an asshole.
What's the point of pouring it out if you're not going to put ice in the glass? Isn't it crazy that Bruce Willis was not an action star when this got made? And the idea of him being an action star to the audience was weird?
Yeah. That's the guy from Moonstruck.
And I was thinking, I'm like, is that fair? But I'm like, I guess if anyone from The Big Bang Theory was in an action movie, I'd be like, huh?
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jim Parsons in Die Hard.
Yeah, Jim Parsons is a hard-boiled like cop. It's like, oh, or the dad from like Modern Family.
Yeah.
Any of the dads from Modern Family. What do you think about McTiernan making the villains thieves posing as terrorists instead of making them full-fledged terrorists?
I think I know McTiernan talked about wanting to really soften the script a little bit, and I think that was most of the time be like, no, make it like unfiltered and real. I think it really works in this to kind of tone it down, to not make it super serious.
I agree with you. It makes the villains the villains are very likable, as they're all crazy in that fun way, and it also adds another layer of mystery to what's going on here, where it's like, it's like. It resolves itself pretty quickly, where we find out pretty quickly that they're not terrorists. But then there's just a lot of things that are going on where they think that they're terrorists, they're treating it like a terrorist situation, but we know that it's just about the money. Yeah. I think it adds. It's one of those things where by taking that out, you kind of add more. Mm-hmm. Addition by subtraction.
Also, I realized the show Bruce Willis was on was Moonlighting, not Moonstruck.
Yeah, you know
My
what?
mistake.
Listen.
To all you 80s sitcom fans out there, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And just keep watching Nick at Night.
Yeah, Nick at Night got you on lock. Hans Gruber, his intended plan, and he states this multiple times in the movie, is to make his thing a spectacle. Do you think that's a smart idea?
It's only smart in the sense that the only way they can open that safe is if they get treated like terrorists, so the power gets cut.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he kind of draws a little too much attention to himself, and probably could have gotten away with it if it was more of a stealth operation.
See,
ultimately, but that wouldn't be a very interesting movie, now would it?
it's hard for me. It's hard to say because from what we see in the movie, it would have worked if John McClane wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like, they would have cut the power, they would have blown the roof, killed all the hostages, the building would have been on fire, and then as everyone rushes in, they would have driven their ambulance out, right? Who's going to stop an ambulance going away from the scene of a crime, if the sirens are blaring, and they would have gotten away with it.
It's true.
So, I mean, it's hard to say. Real hard.
Yeah. It also kind of speaks to Hans being more of a theatrical type guy, not this cold hard professional.
Well, yeah, nice suits, and stuff.
He's not afraid to put on a show,
right?
A little bit. So.
Speaking of that,
and then he also justifies it by saying, if they think you died, then they won't go searching for you.
Right.
So like, if you have this huge, big explosion, everybody dies, body count, we can't possibly do it, then they'll never come hunting for you.
Right. So, and it seems like that would have worked. Did Takagi know the code?
Yeah.
Yeah, he totally knew the code. He was trying to be a company man.
Yep.
Also, there's a Pearl Harbor joke in this movie that I find to be tasteless. It was Bruce Willis said, "I didn't know they celebrated Christmas in Japan," which is already racist because like we're not in Japan, douche. We're in America, and all these people are Americans who are working here, and also But okay, and then he says, "Well, we think." Then the response to this is from a Japanese man who was interned during World War II. Is
the actor was interned?
No, the character.
Okay.
Hans is rolling him through. He's like interned in 1942,
okay.
Released in 1944.
That's right.
He says, we couldn't get you with Pearl Harbor, so we got you with the tape deck.
Yep.
And I had to rewind it because I was like, what is he saying? And then tape deck, and I had to think about, like a Walkman.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that is the most crazy stereotypical version of Japanese people that ever existed. Japanese people don't understand Christmas. They failed at Pearl Harbor, but instead of getting what they wanted, which is murdering us, now they just got all of our money and business with these tape decks. Gross.
Yeah, it's a little,
That's a weird moment.
There's that Reagan sneaking in there. That 80s Reagan mentality.
Oh, good God. Speaking of 80s Reagan mentality, I thought it was a really deep storyline where Al says, I shot a kid, and that's why I can't be a cop. I just can't pull my gun. And then in the end, the blonde villain guy comes back to life somehow.
Yeah.
So like he's been hanging from his neck for a good hour. He comes back to life, and he points his gun at John, and everyone ducks, and Al takes out his gun and shoots the dude 5 times. The look on Al's face is like quiet sadness, like I had to do this, but it still hurts.
Yep.
But the music is like Jurassic Park, like dun 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 dun.
And you think that was kind of a mismanagement of the moments there, because Reginald Val Johnson is really that hurt him to like. He didn't want to kill ever again because he doesn't like it.
Mm.
Yeah, but the big swelling score, it's like he killed a guy. Yes.
Yeah, I just feel like that whole exactly, and I feel like that whole scene didn't need to be there. Like that dude's dead.
Yeah.
Let him be dead.
Yeah.
We already got our it's a weird like slasher movie moment where the killer comes back to life.
Yeah.
It's like we don't need this.
Yeah. It kind of we already had the big climax. We don't need that kind of tacked on there.
Does Christmas factor into the story at all?
Not really. I mean, it's kind of more just a backdrop than actually like exploring anything about Christmas. I don't think, but
it does make for a great backdrop, though.
It is a Christmas movie, though,
and they don't overdo it. It's not like everything is covered in Christmas shit. It's like they're having a Christmas party. It sets a stage, and it's a kind of year that it just sets a stage that you kind of get it. You know what I mean?
And the I have a machine gun, ho ho ho.
Yeah.
Puts the hat on him. Also, I love the way Han says that. Ho, ho, ho. McLean.
Potter.
Yeah, the Potter. The gun strapped to his back is Christmas tape. I always like that.
Yeah.
So.
It's just a little bit. It's
little touches of Christmas.
Again, it's a really nice texture on top of the whole painting.
Yep.
Do you have a crazy fan theory?
Not really. Not for this.
I don't either, but do you have a sequel pitch?
I mean, something that's not Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3, or 4.
You can listen. This can be Alien. We can just choose and pick
Whatever we want.
What we want. So you could have
pick our own canon.
So you could have all the movies being canon, none of them being the canon. What do you want?
I would do a direct sequel. This one in New York, in McLean's home turf. Maybe some more foreign terrorists. I do like the idea of Hans Gruber's brother wanting revenge. Them somehow getting locked in yet another structure, but maybe a little bigger than Nakatomi. And somehow getting his wife in on the action more. Instead of just her being a damsel in distress, really like helping him along. And that's solidifying their marriage. Ultimately.
So,
Die Hard 2 marriage proposal.
So I have my thing, and it's going to incorporate yours a little bit, so you stick with me. So, also Die Hard 2 is probably one of the worst movies of all time.
Oh boy.
So fuck that movie. So we're throwing everything.
Die Hard with a Vengeance? Not bad.
Let's throw out everything from the canon, right? So only thing in canon right now is Die Hard 1. Die Hard 2, real-time sequel, so 88 to 2018, it was in development hell for a minute, I guess. So, 30 years? Or what is that, 30 years?
Yeah, it'll be 2018 will be 30 years.
So, Bruce Willis is a detective. He moved to LA. He has, his kids have all grown up. He's like a grandfather. He's like kind of Lethal Weapon style, about to retire. Him and his partner, Christmas again, in LA, get a call, an issue at 2121 Avenue of the Stars, a.k.a. Nakatomi Plaza. He's like, whoa. They drive in there. Now he's the Carl Winslow character.
Uh-huh.
Check it out. Nothing's really gone wrong. Something happens. They're locked in the building now. They got to get up to the roof because they can't, the terrorists are in the little front area.
Yeah.
So they can't escape. They have to go up to escape. They have to go out up in the building, and then crazy shit happens.
Interesting. Old man Bruce Willis.
Old man Bruce Willis.
Does he have a partner? Does he have anybody?
Yeah, he's a partner.
All right.
Yeah, and the partner could be either in the parking structure or in the building. Who knows?
Is Argyle the manager of this building? Has Argyle risen?
I would like Argyle to make a cameo somehow, even if they're just friends. Like maybe he gets his phone, he drops his phone and he starts trying to call and he can only hit the first name.
Yeah,
and
it's
Argyle. It's AA or and it's like, hey man, what's up?
Yep.
Merry Christmas.
I'm listening to Stevie Wonder in my limo. Still, 30 years later.
30 years later. Do you like this movie and does it work?
Of course it does. Of course I like this movie. Of course it works. This movie's fantastic.
I think the obvious answer is of course I like this movie, but the real question is, why does it work? And I feel like we've answered that.
Yeah, it's strong writing, an extremely well thought out script. Before anybody put anybody in front of a camera, they locked that script down. Great performances, good mix of action, comedy, daring do, death-defying stunts, gunplay. Just a good mix of all the great action elements. Just clever. This movie is very clever in the way that it tells its story.
I would go as far as say this movie is, even as though people say it's a classic, it's still underrated because it's a study on how to assemble something that feels cohesive. Everything you just said, right? Like things in the beginning make their way through the whole movie. You know what I mean?
It's just a series of setup, payoff, and
right.
nothing that's ever set up is never paid off.
Right.
Like there's a few little things that's like that aren't completely effective in the end, but it's all the little tiny details. They all kind of feed into something, whether they're big or small.
And like all great things, just one small issue that you just don't like, which guy's hanging. How is he not dead? But it's okay. It doesn't fucking matter.
It's totally alright.
But it's great. Super great movie.
Yeah, it's extremely, and again, well shot, well directed, well edited. Score is good. A little bombastic at times, but it's good. It does its job.
Oh, sometimes the score is just like Christmas songs slowed down. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it totally is.
I didn't notice that until this time. Emily was like, you notice it's at that like da-na-na-na-na-na-na. It's just really slow. So it's like da-na-na-na. It's like crazy.
Michael Kamen. Like composer.
Good job. Good job, Mikey.
Yeah.
You deserve a raise. So that's it for us. Follow us on social media. Listen to our episodes. Do what you gotta do. Merry Christmas, motherfuckers.
Yippee-ki-yay. Better start your Christmas shopping. It's coming up. Only 7 more Mondays. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. See you next time.